let's move on to Lautaro Martinez. Now, I think, he's probably been mentioned more by City fans than Dybala, especially in the last 6 or 12 months. There obviously were reports that he'd be going to Barcelona, and Barcelona, the rumour was the price was going to be about 80 million euros, I think, which is a lot of money, especially in these COVID times and Barcelona's issues with finances. He's 174 tall, so he's a little bit shorter than Dybala. He's probably in the range of Aguero, probably very, very similar to Aguero. He's 23 years old, so a few years younger. Plays for Inter, and his record in Italy is 62 league games, 20 goals. So he's scoring almost bang on 1 goal in every 3 games. So what more can you tell us about Martinez, and how much scope is there for him to improve?
Yeah, so I think that Martinez is the logical name for Manchester City because he's an out-and-out striker, which Dybala is not. Yeah. But it's funny that you mentioned that his length, because Martinez is a big threat in the air because he is great at anticipating crosses and timing his jumps. So he scored quite a lot of goals with his head this year, which you don't really expect from a striker who's 174, I think you said, right? Yeah. So, but otherwise, I would say, if we talk about high work ethic, I would say that Lautaro is more suited to Pep's football because he led Inter in offensive pressures and counter-pressing moves this season. And a funny fact about that is because he played a defender until he was 16.
Wow.
So he's credited that intense pressure to him being a defender, that he still thinks like a defender. And that's why he's called El Toro, the bull, because he relentlessly chases the ball on the opponent's half. So I think, as I said, he's a more out-and-out striker. And if I had to choose between Dybala and Martinez for City, I would choose Martinez because there's so much more potential there. And he's finally come out of his shell this season under Antonio Conte. I think he scored like 17 goals or something this season in Serie A. And it was this season when you can finally see that he took that next step in his development, because last season he didn't get so much regular time, and I don't know, he kind of had a transition period to get accustomed to Italian football, and so I that's probably my main thoughts on Martinez.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at his stats last season, he was scoring 1 goal every 4 games last season. He was on 21, 22, so it's not bad. This season, he's got 20 across all competitions, 21 goals in 49 games. That's 1 every 2.5 games, just under 2.5 games per goal. But if you look across the league in Italy, 14 goals in 35 games. In Europe, he's done really well, 11 games and 7 goals. So that's where I would look. I'm not worried about the cup so much, but I look at the league and Europe. So he's had 46 games for 21 goals. I quite like that. I mean, it's a decent return for a guy who's 23 years old. And I've no doubt if I go back and look at Sergio Aguero's record at 22, 23, it's not going to be massively different to Lautaro Martinez. And I think one thing that City fans would like, they want in a striker, they want the hard work of Gabriel Jesus, that relentless running, the great movements off the ball, with the finishing prowess of Sergio Aguero, and it's hard to marry the two.